What is happening, my fellow donkheads? I am back with another video series. I have brought out a brand new bounce pack as well. And I am going to be working with just this bounce pack mainly. So I do advise everybody, if you are following this video, then please, I would like you to use the pack as well, because you're going to end up with a different result if you don't use it. So I am trying to encourage people to get the pack and follow exactly what I do. I'm going to be using mainly the pack like I've just said, but you can't just use the pack really to make a decent tune. You've got to have like a VST and other things. You have to have different sound effects or whatever, what I think might benefit. But I will be using free ones. I'll be leaving all the links in the description what I use that isn't already on FL Studio. So if it's a third-party plugin, I will be putting the link in the description so you can download it. I'll show you how to find it once you've installed it. And we are going to make a bounce track together. So, yeah, thanks for everybody that has bought the pack so far. So yeah, I do want to try and encourage people to buy this pack to do this series. Like I said before, you will end up with a different result if you don't. And I'm trying to help everybody more or less get the same sound as what I'm going to create for you all. And then you can save that project yourself, and then you can figure out what you can change and all that to make your own stuff, your own sound. And then you can go from there. You've got a project yourself then, and you can go from there. If you're new to this channel, please like and subscribe to me. It would mean a lot, because I'm trying to build my followers up a bit more on YouTube now. I've also got an EP that's just being released as well. I'll leave everything in the description to my website. Oh yeah, I've got a website as well, what I forgot to mention last time. So yeah, I've got a new website. That's where you can find all my stuff, all my music and all that from now on in the future. And all my packs are on there as well. So let's get started then. I haven't done this for a while, as you can tell. I'm a little bit nervous, but we'll get there. Right, so you've just opened FL Studio. This is what it's going to look like to everyone who's just starting out. If you haven't just started out, just bear with me a minute, because I'm just going to go through everything just for a quick second as a very beginner, just to help everybody get started. So when you first open it, this is what you'll see. At the very top here, you'll see 130. That means your BPM. So if you are making bounce music with my pack, a lot of it is designed for 150 BPM. So to change it, keep hold of left click and move it up to 150. Now, in the mixer tab here, you will see I've got my own things here, because this is what I'm using to create this video, you see. I've put a limiter on as well so I don't clip, but you will have a fruity limiter that gets loaded on straight away. I always disable that straight off because I think it sounds a bit weird when you first try. So you will want to disable that when you open it up. On here it gives you some basic sounds, but we're going to be putting our own in, so you can just keep hold of control, highlight them all, and then go to this arrow here and select delete to delete them all. Now, if you click this one here, if it hasn't already loaded, this is where all your sounds are. Well, this is where you will be putting them. So once you've downloaded, say, my pack, what you want to do is create a folder like I've done there. Mine's called FL Studio Samples. And then you drag whatever's in that folder straight onto there. So I've made a folder on my desktop, and then I've dragged it into there, or wherever you've, like, mine's in a certain thing on my computer location. And then you put all your samples into that folder on your computer, and it'll load up. And hit the refresh button when you've loaded it. So if you've put my sample pack in, this one, what we're going to be working with, it'll just show up and then you just drag all your samples over. So on this first episode, we will just do the drums, I think, like I've done on the last series. So we'll concentrate on the drums. But before we get started, I want to show you a quick little look about what's in the pack when you buy it. So in ambience, you've got things that go in the background. Everything's key listed. Now, what is atmosphere? Well, if you're making a track and you think it sounds empty or there's something missing, a lot of the time you haven't been putting stuff in the background. You only have it low, but this really helps fill your track out. You've got atmosphere. You've got crowds. They just go very low in the back of your track. You've got rain and vinyl. This is what I like to use as well. Now, if you look all over YouTube, a lot of people will tell you you need these type of things to help fill your track out. And they're right. This is how I learned. I learned it from YouTube myself. Not everything I've learned is self-taught. You've got to research yourself to get better, because you can never learn too much. That's what I think. And if you do want to take it seriously, you are going to want to look other than me and look at professional people. Like I subscribed to a few sites, and professional DJs and producers do what I'm doing now, but it's different genres. But you learn a lot more than what I would be teaching you, because like they're professional, like in the charts type of people. And this is where I've learned to show you. So as well in the pack, you've got your basses. I've got some lovely basses in this pack. This pack is well better than the first one. So if you have got the first pack and you're thinking, oh, I've already got one, this one smokes the first one. So there it is. Everything's all C listed as well. I've got some Boss donks on this one. All C listed. And then I've put a hard bass folder in this one as well. Some sick donks on that, like drum hits, all your standard drum hits. I've put a lot more kicks in this one. Loads of hi-hats and all that. There's just loads of variety in this one. Boss drum loops. I've been on a proper sampling mission as well. Percussion loops. You've got like shakers and tambourines and all that going on there. But yeah, oh yeah, there's another thing I've put on this one, what we're in the last one. Some break beats. All 150 BPM. All the loops are 150 BPM. Fills. A lot of it's modernized, like you're hearing all modern music nowadays. Loads of effects in here, loads of new build-ups. Like, I haven't used a single sample, I don't think, from the last one. So all these are fresh. So it's definitely worth buying just because of that. And if you're not a new producer and you've been around for a while, this is a Boss folder for you as well, because everything's just there in one pack. I've worked really hard on it. Loads of rises and all that, loads of impacts. There's just loads of Boss stuff on this one. I've worked really hard. Loads of Boss stabs. Disco stabs, brass stabs. Acid. All key listed as well. Some synths, hoovers. Some good stuff in there. Now, vocals. I've got a lot of vocals on this one because I thought it was lacking in the last one. Loads of pre-drop ones.
Put your fucking hands up! 1, 2, 3, hit it! Everybody get your hands up.
I just wanna get loose when the beat drops.
Raise those hands high.
They're all 150 BPM, the pre-drop ones, so you don't have to worry about messing around with it. And there's a lot of phrases in this one.
on, yo!
A DJ!
Drop that beat.
The drum beats go like this.
Hear the drummer get wicked.
Now, I haven't done 150 BPM for these because you can chop them up and all that yourself anyway. But yeah, so yeah, that's basically the pack anyway. What we're going to be working with on this series. Like I said before, I do advise you to get this pack in because it is going to help you sound exactly what I'm going to do. So without further ado, let's get started on it. Right. So on the last one, I put all my samples into this thing here for me drum patterns. But I think on this series, I'm just going to have it simple. We're just going to literally drag and drop. It's easier for beginners. So, yeah, at first I think we're going to create our bus template right now. Now, what's a bus template? It is a place, a channel where you route everything to have all your effects and all that in one place. Instead of having it on individual sounds, you route it all to one channel and you just put all your effects in there and it saves memory and CPU and it just works better. It's a no-brainer. So I do it for every track. So you just right click on your mixer to rename kick bus, and then that routes to the master channel. Now the next one I do is drum bus. What else? Leads bus. What else? Plucks bus. You could have that in your leads bus if you wanted to, but I like to separate them because plucks aren't as loud as you have leads, really. So I like to separate them. Bass bus. You don't have to worry about colour and all this yet anyway as well. Like if you want to make it look pretty and all that, let's just get the basics done first, eh? So, effects. Yeah, I mean that could piano if you want to. No, we won't do a piano bus because we'll just probably use one piano or something. Because like we're gonna use stock plugins, and there's only one stock plugin I like on here really for the piano, and I'll show you later. Right. We're not gonna use 2 kicks. I don't think. I'm not gonna do that. Whatever it's called. We're not going to go into all that. We're just going to pick one drum sample, I think, now. Let's listen to some. Let's hear some more. I like that one. I like the sound of that one. It's nice and punchy. So you just keep hold the left click and then drag it over. Right. So let's put it to the beginning here. I like to go a bit further down because I like to put my effects on the top. So what I like to do now, make it a bit zoomed in a bit more. Right. You could go to there, keep hold of your Alt and the mouse to make sure it's the same length so you can just copy and paste it over like that. To do that, you just click it, keep hold of the left click and then move it along and it just copies it. I think it's a bit long now, so to shorten it, what you can do is use this Out button here. It just makes it a bit shorter. So you could highlight it by keeping hold of Control and highlighting them all. Keep hold of Alt. And there you go. It's nice and short. Now on this bit here, this is where your donk goes. So you don't want your kick conflicting really with your bass, with bounce music. Because you want your bass to shine through. I mean, it's all about the donk, innit? If you think about it with bounce music, and you want that donk nice and loud, and you're not going to achieve that if you're conflicting with your kick drum. So I always make sure when I'm doing it this way that your kick is always cut off to there where the offbeat bass goes. So that's a good tip for you straight away. So to highlight them all, keyboard the control on your keyboard, left click highlights them all, and then keep holding your shift button and your left click, and it'll copy over. Do that twice, and there's a bar right there. Now you want that routed to your kick bus. Okay, so let's just hear what we've got. Right, so there it is. Now, next, I like to put a clap on there. So let's pick a clap. There's loads on here. That sounds good to me. Now, when you think about it, when you listen back to it in your head, your clap goes boom, tch, boom, tch, right? So, boom, tch. So this is where you have your clap. Now, I don't want it dead long like that, so I'm going to do what we done with the kick, but I'm going to do a bit more drastic. So let's go. So like there. Shorten it. Now that's going to be too loud, so we wanted to assign it to a new mixer track. So number 7's free there, so let's put it on number 7. Rename it to clap. Now I put me clap as part of me drums, so you right click on your drum bus, route to this track only. That goes straight into the drum bus, and then your drum bus goes straight into the master. Let me just get a drink. Have to bear with me a sec, my mouth's dead dry. Right, so that's going to be too loud now. Now this here is your levels, your volume, so let's bring it down, and now let's hear it. Keyboard the control to preview on the top. Now let's hear it. Now you don't have to worry about your levels at the minute, but I like to bring the kick down a little bit just so it's not too loud. Right, that sounds good. Now what we could do with that again is copy. Do what we've done before with the kick. Bring it over. There's your bar. So let's hear it. Sounds good. Now, next I like to put a closed hat. Let's find one. Okay. We'll do the drag and drop again. Now I'll tell you what, we'll do that on this here. So, drag it over. Now on your pattern, you can rename to closed hat. Click the piano roll button here. Now you can draw it in. You always want it on the C. For your closed hats, draw it in to 5, because if you look 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 and 1 2 3 4, there's your bar. But what I'm going to do, this is your volume button down here. and you want your first one to not hit loud on your kick. This is called side chaining, but you can do it yourself manually through this. So you want it down here on the first one. Leave the second one where it needs to be. And you can have it like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but listen to it. It goes up and down, up and down. Ready? Now you can copy that over like before. Control and then shift to bring it over. There's your bar. Right. So you want to highlight that and drag it over. So let's hear it now. Right. Now you want to assign that to a mixer track. So double click. This one's free, number 8. Bring it to 8. Rename it on there by right click, rename. Call it closed hat. Enter. Bring that over to the drum bus like we done before. Right click, route to this track only. And there we go. It's routed. Now let's do a bit of EQing now. Just to make it sound a bit nicer. So, on the clap, slot 1, left click. Now we want to look for this here. Fruity Parametric EQ2. This is the best one that FL Studio have got. So I like to cut quite heavily on the claps and all that, because there's nothing going on in the low ends, but you do get a bit of static noise or something, so you want to get rid of that. To do that, right click on this one here, type high pass. Okay. Now on the you get to control how heavy you want to do it. So left click and move it to quite a steep cut off. Now when I press play now, you'll see something, and then this is where you want to cut it. Okay, it just takes away that bit of bass that was in the clap. You don't want that. Let's do the same with the closed hi-hat. So type high pass. Do it a nice heavy cut. Let's hear it. Now I feel I could do with a little bit more high end that. So you just boost the high. Okay, now what we could do is make that a little bit shorter as well, because I think that sounds a little bit too long. So let's make it shorter. Okay, sounds good to me. Now we got a little groove going now. So next, I like to use an open hat. Oh, I need another drink. Okay, open hat, let's pick one. I like that one. It sounds like a 909. So let's drag it over. Now this goes where the donk goes on the offbeat. So let's make it shorter. And now let's make it a little bit shorter by doing the out button. Let's hear it. Hold on. Let's make it a little bit, let's copy it over a little bit. Let's copy it right the way over, in fact. Right, now let's hear what we've got. Okay, that's too loud because it hasn't been assigned to a mixer channel yet. Double click. Number 9's free. Rename. Open. Hat. Assign it to your drum bus. Right click. Route to this track only. Bring it down a bit. Now let's hear it. Sounds good. Let's put an EQ on it. High pass. Let's see. Sounds nice and clean, that. Now on your kick, you want to take away a little frequency as well. You want to cut it, high pass, to 20 or 30 or in the middle. Because it cuts out stuff that the human ear can't listen to. We can't hear, I think, below 20 or 30 hertz. So it's no point of being there. And when you are mastering at the end, it helps getting louder. It helps you to get it louder. So you cut it out. So let's cut 20. Okay. Now that sounds good to me, that already. Right. Now you could use a ride as well. So this goes on top of your kick or whatever. So let's hear it. That one, I like that one. So why is that doing that? Nice. Let's make it shorter. This one you can have going right over your kick into your next one, like so. You don't want it too long though, so you have a little bit of a cut again. You don't want this very loud at all. You only want it in the background, like an ambience. So find another space, call it ride, route it to your drum bus, lower it down quite low. Now let's hear that. Yeah, let's drag it over again. Right, let's hear what we've got. Spot on. It sounds really clean and well made already, and we haven't done nothing really, have we? So let's go to the EQ. Same again, high pass. Let's hear it. Now I like to take away some of the high ends on this one. So what you do is go to low pass. And I like to take away a little bit as well on this. A little tiny bit. There we go. It's got a little bit of a boost going there. And a little bit of a cut at the end. It just takes away that harsh top end frequency. Right, so let's hear it again. Sounds good. Now, what we can do is do our own shaker loop or something like that for a bit more percussion going on. I like this one, nice and subtle. Right, so we need to sort of do what we done for the closed hat and make a pattern. So where it says closed hat here, that's pattern number 1. So you want to keep hold the left click and move it up to pattern number 2. Rename shaker loop. Click on your piano roll here. Now, we're going to do the same thing as what we've done before. But you want to make it shorter. And like this. So it goes up and down dead quick. So let's copy that. And turn it into a bar. By keeping holding shift. And moving it along. Now let's hear what that sounds like. Sounds great. Let's put it on an empty space. So number 11 is free. That goes into the drum bus again. Right, and I'm giving a bit of an EQ as well. Let's see. If you look down here, it's got noise, and you don't want that there really. It just doesn't sound very clean. So that's why you take it away. So let's see. It just sounds well better. Right. You want to put that here. Okay. Now let's see how loud you want it. Oh yeah, let's rename it Shaker. Loop. Bring it down. You don't want it too loud. You just want it in the background. So let's hear it. It's sounding really good already, isn't it? We've hardly done much, but it's starting to sound like a nice loop. What you can work with. Right. And speaking of loops, this is where drum loops come in handy now, because you stick that on top of what we've already made and it'll sound full, and that's what you want. So let's find a good one. I'll tell you what we can do. We can preview it by doing this. Dragging over. Now what we could do is assign it to a mixer channel. Rename it drum loop. Bring it to the drum bus. Bring it down a bit. Put it to like 50%. Put a bit of EQ on already. And then we just preview it then and see what sounds good with what we've already made. Okay. So, let's hear it. It sounds okay, but it's not really blending with what we've made. So to change it, if you've got a wheel on your mouse here, click the middle button of your wheel while it's playing. And it'll change while you're playing it. So let's hear it. I like that one. That doesn't half go well with what we've just made. It really blends in nice. So that's one. And then what you could do is add another one. So let's add another one. To really fill it out, because that's what you want. You want a nice filled out drum loop. So add it again. Drum loop 2 or something, call it. Bring it to the drum bus. Bring it down. EQ again. You want to EQ everything individually. And you can EQ the bus as well, but we'll do that on, like later on. High pass. You're better off starting to do all this when you first start to do it. Because if you leave it further down the line, right, it'll end up messy. And you don't know what you're listening to. Like I've done it when I first started. I didn't know much about EQing and all that. I learned. But this is why I want you to learn now, because further down the line, you'll know quicker, and your music will just get better quicker. I wish I knew all this to it, nothing like this around when I was starting. So let's hear it. Right. Let's do the same again. Let's preview and let's swap it. There you go, farm one. And that's all you do. And then we've got a nice full drum loop going on here to work on. This is going to be like the foundation of your track, really, because like this is going to carry on throughout your whole track. So you just copy it all, and there you go. That's the start of your track. Now, you could have a percussion loop as well in there. There you go, it's tambourine. Like, the more instruments you can put into it, the better. That's the way I look at it. So that's already 150 BPM. Okay, I want to do the same. Put it in an empty mixer. Let's do some loop or something. Put it to the mixer bus. Give it an EQ like we've been doing. High pass. Let's hear it. That sounds brilliant to me, that it really does. It's nice and full, do you know what I mean? There's loads going on. So let's have a quick recap of what we've actually got going on here. We've got a ride. So this is where you can start renaming it now. So what you want to do, you can go to your sample, right click, rename, ride. Okay, and then all you do then is give it a colour. So we'll right click on that, and let's give it a nice green colour. And then you right click on that, auto name, and there you go, you've named it and you've given it a colour. Now why do you want to give it a colour? Well, it helps when you've got a lot going on in your project. If you just leave it like that without putting a colour on it, you're not going to remember what everything is. So this is why you want to rename and colour coordinate everything, because when you've got loads going on, you know exactly what it is. So I'll colour coordinate all the drum loop the same. So let's carry on. This one is your kick, so let's rename it kick and give it the same colour as what we've just done. Right click, auto name. It's that simple. This one is the clap, colour, same. And I'll do that for everything now, so I'm just going to be quiet a minute. Oh, we are. Right, that's all the names. So there you go. Colour, auto name. It's all the same colour. Might as well do that for that one while we're here. Auto name. This one, open hat. I mean, you don't have to rename. You can keep it the same as what it's already said, but I just like to rename it. It's just You know what it is then, exactly. Ride, kick, clap, close that. Now, why is that a different colour? Should be the same. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Okay, drum loop, rename. Drum loop. Next one, drum loop 2, isn't it? Colour. Next one. Tam loop. That's what we called it, weren't it? Also name. There you go. Nice and pretty in a colour now. We know exactly what it is. It's your drum loop. Okay, let's move on. What else do you need for a drum? If you think about when you're listening to a bounce track, what else is in there? It's a crash. So you want to pick a nice crash. I like that one. So it goes bang, and then you have to wait for a little bit. And then it goes probably there, and then there. So it's the start, half a bar and a bar. That's what you can usually do it on. So let's do the same to what we've been doing before. Call it crash. This can go to your drum bus. Oh god, I've done it wrong there. Right click, route to this track. Okay, you want to lower it down because it'll be too loud, and then you want to give it an EQ again, like we've been doing. High pass, take out the bad low frequencies of it. Let's hear what it's like. Yeah, sounds good to me. So rename, crash, give it the colour. Okay, auto name. Let's hear it then. Spot on. Okay, now we need a snare. Because when you listen to a drum pattern, you hear the snare coming building right up at the end of a bar. So that's what you want as well. So let's pick one. You want a nice short and stabby one, really. There you go. That one. That way hard, was it? Now you want it on this here. Yeah, let's rename these so you know what it is. So this is the closed hat. Let's give it the same colour as what we've been given. And this is the tam loop. It's just better to be organised now rather than later. Need another drink. Okay. Now let's drag a snare over, because we're going to be doing a pattern with that again. Might as well rename it now. Snare. And a colour. And we want it on another track, so 16's free. Snare. And then you want it going to your drum bus, where all the other drum hits are. Lower it down a bit. Right. And we do it again. Let's go to a different pattern. Rename. Snare. Give it the same colour. Now let's go to the piano roll and draw in a snare pattern. Okay. What I like to do is start low and build it up gradually. Okay. And I like doing it so it's 2 bars long. Okay. Now, it's just going to stay low there. So what you want to do is put it to about 10. If you look in the top left corner here, you'll see the volume percentage when you move it. See? So you want to start it off at around 10, so it's nice and low. And then right click and drag it up like that to around 79, 80. So let's hear it. Okay. And that goes there. Also, name, snare. Now you want to give that an EQ. Now I like to have mine with hardly any bass in it and nice and high in the high end. So let's do it now. Let's take it off. Okay. Let's hear what it sounds like. It might need to go louder, so let's hear it. A little bit louder, I reckon. Let's hear it again. Sounds okay, that to me. Right, so there we have it. Let's listen back to what we've done. And this is the start of your track. It's all nicely EQ'd. It's all sounding good. Let's hear it all together. And there we have it. That is the start of your track. Okay, so that's all we got time for today on this one. If you are watching this and you've liked what I've done and you do want to keep following me, I've got a link in the description now for my sample pack, what I'm using. And I'm only using mainly the sample pack. So please, if you want to support me, go and buy the sample pack. It's on my website. The link's in the description. Also, if you haven't already, like and subscribe the video, and please carry on watching, because I do want you all to learn, and the more people that learn, the better for our scene, because it is only small, so the more producers the better. Okay, I'll see you on part 2.